Mr. Guzman is the Director of the Mayor's Office on Asian and Pacific Islander Affairs. As a co-founder and longtime co-director of the National Cure Asian Pacific Islander Alliance, he worked for over 10 years on behalf of over 20 locally based Asian, South Asian, Southeast Asian, and Pacific Islander LGBTQ organizations. Welcome, Mr. Guzman.
Thank you, Cruz. Well, good morning, everyone. Woohoo! So yes, as Cruz said, my name is Ben Guzman, and I'm honored to serve Mayor Muriel Bowser as the Director for the Mayor's Office on Asian and Pacific Islander Affairs. So officially, on behalf of the Mayor, welcome to DC. Many thanks. I just wanted to start by thanking the Lotus Project and RAMS and the Public Health Institute and the organizers for today's event. Old friends like Dr. Wong and Sandy Dang, who I think is going to make an appearance, and other organizations like the Health Forum and CRAC are groups that I have worked with a lot over the years. And so it's great to kind of have this little mini reunion. A little bit about myself and my agency. We've been around for almost 40 years now, and we're actually the largest agency of our kind in the country, centering Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander constituencies. It's something I'm very proud of, with much love to our friends in California and Minnesota and New York. We're bigger. Not the fan. No, but particularly in California, I have dear friends who serve on the Asia Pacific Islander Commission, and I speak regularly with the chair of the commission because we're building a network of all of the local government-based agencies that serve our communities, and are trying to do so in this time when everything threatening DEI is very real. But again, welcome to DC. One of the things that I love about this city, and I'm going to brag about it a lot, is that it's a city that obviously has a national and international impact, but also a very local feel. You can see it here, and you don't get to see our local vibe if you're only focused on the national impact. Right, so we have our own unique quirks and traditions where everyone is welcome, but you kind of have to know where to look. So I have taken it as my job, all these many years since I moved here in '97, to help everyone look, but also see and fully take part in everything that the city has to offer. That's probably a colorful way to describe the work that we do as an agency, but I always talk about our work in two ways. One is we represent the mayor to the AAPI community. Our outreach team is literally out here in these streets every week, talking to our businesses, talking to our residents, and making sure that they have the latest updated information from the city government. At the same time, we're an advocate for the community to our colleagues in city government. So making sure that barriers like limited English proficiency or immigration status or race or ethnicity don't prevent them from getting the resources that they're entitled to. So we do have a short video about the work that we do and how we provide our Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander residents a sense of home. So this is our pitch for DC. So I'm proud to share it with you.
Asians and Pacific Islanders represent about 5% of the population here in the district. And so they cut across different nationalities, different immigration statuses, different generations. And so kind of wherever you are in the district, you are never too far away from someone in the Asian American and Pacific Islander community probably doing something really interesting.
One, two, three, four. My name is Jeannie Bauman, and I teach Dunya. It's a Bollywood workout class. I love that we get people who've been dancing their whole life. And then we also have folks who, just want to come in and get a good workout, and they want to dance and have a good time. And so we have folks from all ages, all backgrounds. And I love that there's this sort of dance and music that can bring people together, just having fun and building a community.
The AAPI community have come to the district from places far and wide.
My name is Albini, and I grew up in Colorado.
My name is Daniel Phoenix Singh. We left India because opportunities were slim there, and a lot of my friends were moving into DC and felt like the right place to be.
In 2010, I met Amia in Hawaii, and I decided that, hey, I have an opportunity at work to move to the DC area and to be with her. So I did.
You kissed a girl.
I did.
I want us to be that place that surprises you. Like, oh, this is a place where I can lay down roots.
I'm a queer South Asian, and it was really a place where I found my family, and it really gave me a sense of home. This is Arman Phoenix Leela Singh. He's my son, and his sister is Meherlisa Violet Madhvi Singh. They're twins. They're 5 months old.
This is our home. It's a great place to live. All of my friends are here. It's such a diverse neighborhood, diverse city. Why would we move anywhere else?
People in my community are writers, strong-willed, and they have lots of affection.
I think that there's some unexpected aura or feeling that you get in DC where you feel like you should be engaged in one way or another.
My name is Steve Park. I am the founder and executive director of Little Lights Urban Ministries, and we're a nonprofit organization that serves public housing students and families in Washington, D.C.
Steve looks very different from the people that he serves.
Once in a blue moon, I do get asked, like, are you here delivering the Chinese food, right? I'm like, no, I'm not. We do a lot of after-school tutoring, a lot of one-to-one tutoring in reading and math. We have a one-to-one mentoring program. We have a kids choir. We have Family Center for Adults to get access to jobs and employment, as well as a landscaping social enterprise. So there are a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of programs at Little Lights. But I think what brings it all together is compassion. Great things about being around a long time and being in the same community for a long time is you do get to watch kids in your program grow up.
Now, I've been involved with Little Lights for over 20 years, so longer than I can remember. Steve used to come pick us up in a van at Potomac Gardens and take us to church on Sundays. We got meals and food and just a chance to just be a kid without having to worry about anything else.
These kids are beautiful. These kids have so much potential, but they need support. They need that extra help.
And I think that's what kept me coming back. It definitely set an example of what service means, and I'm a program coordinator here at Little Lights.
There's a narrative that we are the Korean owners of the bodega, but the population here is really engaged in our communities.
I think for immigrants, there's always trying to find the balance of like where you came from or where you were born, and then being present where you are and loving and where you're raising your kids.
It means so much to me that I got a tattoo representing the DC flag, Colorado where I'm from, and Hawaii where I lived and met Jeff.
I just love DC. There's a lot of great things here, so yeah, this is definitely home.
Thank you for indulging me. Fun fact, Alvina's daughter, whom you saw there, is named after the senator from Hawaii, Mazie. So She's much bigger now. But we've come here at a unique moment in the calendar as May 1st, but also a unique moment in our history. We've made mention to it, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about a lot of it today. Because it's Heritage Month, I get to spend the next 31 days bragging about the role that we play in America, every facet of American public life. Whether it's talking about the role that we played in the Wong Kim Ark Supreme Court decision around birthright citizenship, or the ways in which each of our communities stakes its claim to karaoke. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I get to share about it with folks in our community, but also folks outside of our community. This year, the theme that we're using to celebrate Heritage Month is Heritage and Pride, building all of our communities together. As we recognize our AAA and HPI communities, our theme is also a nod to next month, and where DC will welcome the world to World Pride celebrations around the city. So some of the stuff that we'll be doing will kick that off. And if you're around, we would love for you to join us because it's still happening. And, just as another side note, I came to MOAPIA from the Mayor's Office of LGBTQ Affairs, where we played a role in taking a lead role in producing the unique institution of the 17th Street high heel race. If you've ever seen it, Google it. It's a fun time. But obviously, as we talk about history and our experiences as A and HPI folks, the history and experiences that we bring are very instructive to what's happening in this moment. We've talked about things like the Japanese American incarceration. We talked about alien land laws, but the Wong Kim Ark case and birthright citizenship is becoming a point of discussion now. So, we have to make sure that we talk about our history because past is prologue, and we're uniquely positioned to make sure that the mistakes we made in our history aren't repeated. And DC is a great place to be thinking these thoughts. In many ways, our experience here locally is a microcosm of what's been happening around the country. The work that we've done in Chinatown, for example, even going back before the earliest days of COVID, when our Chinatown, like many other Chinatowns around the country, were the canary in the coal mine in terms of showing the nation what it was going to look like in terms of the economic downturn. If you remember, big city mayors from all over the country were going into their Chinatown saying, we're still in business. Mayor Bowser came to our Chinatown, and then the public health emergency happened. So, but another thing I get to brag about is our experience in COVID and how DC was really leading the country in some ways, especially in terms of our testing regimen. Our agency hosted a pop-up clinic for vaccinations when they were first becoming available at a Filipino church. And Mayor Bowser called us and said, I live in the neighborhood, I'm getting my first booster here. So a Filipino nurse administered Mayor Bowser's first booster. So I don't think it's still in her system. It's another way that we had to uniquely think about COVID was what was referred to earlier in terms of the anti-Asian violence. Mayor Bowser has always been a strong proponent of bringing our city back to work. So our city government employees were on a much faster trek to getting back into our offices. I'd have the unique responsibility and challenge to remind our city colleagues, though, that we were facing our own unique challenges. So while we were trying to beat back COVID, my office was also trying to beat back harassment that they were facing in the streets. So, we were able to have specific investments from the mayor to start our Hate Stops Here program in terms of addressing anti-Asian violence. So I'm proud that we got to do that. But, obviously, I don't have to tell you what our experience was like. But we're here today to talk about trauma-informed care. And, we've made the connections before. I'm excited about the conversations that are going to happen here today. I had a couple of thoughts about DC and our unique experience. At the risk of talking about myself, I was telling Dr. Bowie that my first job was here at Georgetown, at what is now called the National Center for Child and Human Development. I've always worked at organizations with long names. And we were providing support for SAMHSA grantees, MCHB grantees around how to improve their capacity to provide culturally competent care. Now I'm working with the mayor, and one of my cabinet colleagues in the cabinet is Dr. Barbara Vazron, who literally wrote the book on how we were thinking about cultural competence back then. So it's also the first place where I encountered RAMS. I think someone from RAMS called our office and was looking for technical assistance. So coming back here is actually a really full circle moment for me. We're also a very unique place to think about accessibility in terms of providing trauma-informed care and providing access to government services. We have one of the most robust Language Access Acts local ordinances in the country. And so that's something else I get to be proud of, because our agency is specifically equipped to provide language services for folks who speak Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese. Those are the three languages that where the population of LAP folks is large enough to trigger our ordinance. But our city's commitment to our most vulnerable populations remains core to the work that we do. So whatever you're calling it, we don't turn away folks from our doors, regardless, dependent on their immigration status. And we're committed to those DC values. The mayor talks about them all the time. And whatever strategic moves we make to talk about our services, at the core, we continue to have our DC values. The Vietnamese communities that we serve, as we're remembering the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, are a perfect example of that work that we do in terms of serving refugee populations that are literally teaching us all what it means about intergenerational trauma. So let me just close by reminding us that we're beginning May. We have a whole set of programming that is still in formation because some of the things that are shaking up in the city government. But May is also Older Americans Month. And it's also Mental Health Awareness Month. So whether you're thinking about the unique and intersecting impacts that age, race, health status, immigration status have, or the need to intentionally think about these things in order to better understand our communities. It's celebrations like this, it's observances like Heritage Month that remind us that even though we are all the same, the different experiences that we bring, the histories that we bring, the trauma that we bring, is important to understand for all of us to meet the challenges that are facing us, particularly in this moment. As we're remembering the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, our ability to meet these challenges is going to be more important than ever in terms of facing the next 50 years. So I just wanted to end by thanking you all for inviting me to come and do some bragging and sharing some thoughts. So I'm really looking forward to the conversations, and happy Asian American Native Flying Episode.